Okay, I just want to, before I carry on with the debate, just to point out, hours after the US indictment became public, remember yesterday the Kenyan government scrapped airport and power deals involving the Adani Group. That was the first immediate global fallout. These contracts were already facing questions from the opposition there after a whistleblower, Nelson Amania, alleged rigging in the tender process. Our Foreign Affairs editor, Gita Mohan, spoke to Amania. Listen in to what he had to say.
I am not trying to fight India. This is just trying to get a good deal for the country. And, I'm patriotic. I don't want to see my country lose. I want to see my country develop. We would like to have a better upgraded airport, but the right channels need to be followed. The law needs to be followed. If you see this, someone's proposal being approved in one day, then this is unusual and extraordinary. It means something extraordinary must have happened, and it's not for the common good of the people.
You heard what was said, Tuhin. You've got the government of India saying we want to become a superpower, Amrit Kal, this is the age of building a new India. In this entire narrative of a Viksit Bharat, if the country's leading businessman is being indicted by a US court, surely there should be greater concern, as some of the guests are saying, which can only be meted by a proper, transparent inquiry. Why this hesitation? The moment the Adani name is mentioned, whether in Parliament or outside, the BJP seems to see a red rag somewhere out there. Why are you protesting so much?
No, we are not protesting. I'm not here to defend. I'm not here to, let me make it very clear that I'm not here to defend Adani. The Adani Group is capable of defending itself. If
but the perception, Tuhin, over the last 24 hours is the BJP is going out of its way to defend Adani because of his proximity to the ruling government.
That's a contrived perception. We don't believe in demonizing industrialists and wealth creators. As Mr. Agarwal rightly pointed out, it's a very hasty judgment by the US court. And our reaction need not be that hasty. We are waiting for the responses of the 4 state governments concerned. And yes, Kenya also.
4 state governments and one
Kenya
Jammu
also,
and Kashmir as well.
Kenya
Let's
also,
not forget Jammu and Kashmir was ruled by the center at the time.
Let me also make it very clear that Kenya has also acted in haste, which only gives weight to what our suspicion is. Adani ports have been growing, Indian businesses have been growing, and yes, in Africa, China also is an interested party.
You're saying the Kenyan government has acted in haste after allegations of corruption. You're saying the US courts are acting in haste and Indian governments are not acting at all.
It's for you to read the judgment in entirety. There are anomalies in the judgment, loose ends, there are loose ends which are not connected in the judgment. So all I'm saying, wait for the conviction. But yes, we will not wait for an investigation. We are waiting for the initial responses from the 4 state governments concerned. But yes, Kenya has acted in haste. India's geopolitical clout is immense today, and I don't know why Kenya should have taken such a abrupt decision without consulting the Indian authorities.
Okay, Subhash Chandra Garg, are we all jumping the gun because it's Gautam Adani, because of these allegations that the opposition makes of his proximity to Prime Minister Modi? Immediately it gets caught in a political tangle rather than the focus on the facts of the case.
So, number one, this is charge sheet. This is not judgment. I don't know why some people are trying to read it as a judgment. Hastily arrived at. It's a charge sheet. The whole allegations will have to be proven before the district court. And then the district court will pronounce the judgment, which might include imprisonment, which might include penalties and whatnot, and the confiscation of assets. That is the stage which will come maybe 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line. But the point which should be taken very seriously is that this is the charge sheet which has been filed. Think of a charge sheet filed in the Indian court. That is the stage at which the investigating agencies have concluded that the offense or the crime has taken place. It's not the stage of making the allegations or filing the FIR. So this is the stage which should be taken very seriously by everyone. At the government level, if you want to deal with it, the government should definitely be concerned about building India's Viksit Bharat story, in India's investment, India's growth. So government should be seeing what is the impact if we act and what is the impact if we don't act. You have the choice of not acting. which is what seems to be the current strategy. But in my judgment, if you go through that path, you will invite much larger trouble for yourself, and your own Viksit Bharat story will get appended, in my judgment. And therefore, there is every reason to actually act rather more hastily than what we are showing up.
Oh, it's interesting what we've heard on this debate. Clearly, the lawyers, Mr. Agarwal has a very different view. He believes that these are mere allegations. Sanjay Hegde and Subhash Chandra Garg believe it's an extremely serious case that deserves full investigation. Praveen Chakravarti is very clear it's causing damage to India's image globally. It could affect India's international investors. Please correct me if I've got any of you wrong. And Tuhin Sinha says they're all jumping the gun because they wish to target Prime Minister Modi. Am I broadly correct?
Absolutely.
Right? But the point is, at the end of the day, you've got... yes, Sanjay, I'll give you 30 seconds. You and Mr. Agarwal, 30 seconds each. Let me come back to both of you. Am I right in saying, first you, Sanjay Hegde, that we've got to, while we order an investigation, it has to also be seen as not being a witch hunt of any kind, nor should it be seen to be protecting anyone?
Absolutely. The point is, this is more than a charge sheet. This is an indictment brought after it has been brought before a grand jury. This is the stage where, in Indian law, where a court has determined that there are charges which have to be faced, which have to go to trial. So that's the first thing. The most important message is we have to prove that India is not Adani and Adani is not India. Because if we do that, then Indian business as a whole will suffer. The cost of financing will go up. Every Indian businessman will come under a crowd.
So you're saying it cannot be seen that some special favors are being given to a particular businessman who's being indicted. If it had been someone else, there might have been stricter and more stringent and more speedier action. Here the impression is, our perception is of protection. Mr. Agarwal, your final word. You heard what was said by Sanjay Hegde just now, that India's credibility is at stake.
Yeah, it is by grand jury, not by trial jury. Before the grand jury, the standard of proof is very, very loose. Before the trial jury, it is the proof beyond reasonable doubt. So it is just like a charge sheet. And see, in India, so many politicians are charge sheeted. They are all fighting elections. So it is the conviction which matters. And please see the press release. It says that one is presumed to be innocent till found guilty. So there has to be an evidence. There is no connecting of dots. And as I said, that the numbers are not making sense. So in a foreign country, maybe it is the...
So what would you propose, Mr. Agarwal? You're saying numbers don't make sense. What would you propose? You're saying wait till whether there's a conviction. You're saying wait till there's a conviction in a US court. Am I correct?
Ultimately, we see the evidence. It is only an indictment. It is 54 pages. Let us read the evidence on the basis of which this indictment is prepared, then form an opinion. It is an opinion by a person. In India, every day charge sheet gets filed. In 50% of the cases, charges are not framed. And 95% of the people get acquitted. Now, please see in 2G scam, where I was the lawyer, what happened after 7 years? And if we talk, I don't belong to any political party, but please see, the former Prime Minister who was holding the coal portfolio, he was charge sheeted in the coal scam. What happened? The case is lying. There is a stay by the Supreme Court. The case is lying. Former Prime Minister, the coal portfolio was charge sheeted. Every day there are 5 people come in dozens to our offices saying that every day there is a charge sheet. They include everybody's name.
Okay. I've heard your view. I've heard all the views. I appreciate that each of you didn't talk over each other, and that's refreshing and reassuring, and perhaps therefore the audience also has been more educated as a result.